The year was 1904. The place was St. Louis, Missouri. The world gathered to celebrate human greatness. But what unfolded was anything but. This wasn't an Olympic triumph, it was a disaster. The marathon at the 1904 Olympics wasn't just unfair, it was dangerous, corrupt, hysterical. Runners collapsed, officials experimented on athletes. One guy took a car, another nearly died from rat poison. And somehow it all went down in Olympic history. This is the true story of the most chaotic marathon ever run. The 1904 Summer Olympics were held during the World's Fair in St. Louis, Missouri, an event meant to showcase American power and progress. But even before the marathon began, things were a mess. Many international athletes couldn't afford to attend. The organization was sloppy, and racism was baked into the event. 2 Tswana tribesmen from South Africa were entered into the marathon as a joke without any shoes. This wasn't just a sporting event, it was a chaotic spectacle. And it was about to get worse. On August 30th, 1904, at 3:03 p.m., the race began. 32 runners stood at the starting line. Temperatures reached over 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 32 degrees Celsius. Humidity was stifling, and the course? A dusty 24.85-mile loop through hills, rocky roads, and open countryside. There were only 2 water stations, one at mile 6 and one at mile 12. Why? Because the head physician James E. Sullivan wanted to test the effects of purposeful dehydration. Yes, this was an experiment, and the athletes were the lab rats. As the runners made their way down the dusty roads, they were followed by a convoy of cars, judges, officials, and press, all kicking up clouds of choking dust. Many runners collapsed from exhaustion or inhalation. Others developed internal bleeding. Cuban runner Anderine Carvajal, who had traveled to the race in a suit and cut it into shorts, stopped to chat with spectators, stole peaches from a car, and ate rotten apples from an orchard. He got stomach cramps, laid down, took a nap. Meanwhile, American runner William Garcia almost died from internal damage caused by inhaling dust. He was rushed to the hospital, barely conscious. But he wasn't the only one in danger. Runner Fred Laws was doing fine for the first 9 miles, then he cramped up. So he hitched a ride in a car for 11 miles, then feeling better, he got out near the stadium and jogged in. Spectators roared. He was crowned the winner. Pictures were taken. The crowd cheered. The gold medal was about to be handed over, until someone whispered, he was in a car." Laws laughed. He said it was just a joke. Officials didn't laugh. He was disqualified. But the chaos wasn't over. That left Thomas Hicks, an American runner, in the lead. He was struggling badly, so his trainers gave him a pick-me-up. Not electrolytes, not water. They gave him strychnine, a rat poison, mixed with egg whites and brandy. It was supposed to act as a stimulant. Yes, they poisoned their athlete on purpose. Hicks hallucinated. He staggered. He begged to lie down. His skin turned grey. They refused. They carried him over the finish line, his feet barely touching the ground. He won gold. He nearly died minutes later. And somehow the win still counted. Meanwhile, Len Townyan, one of the South African runners running barefoot, was chased off the course by wild dogs. Another competitor vomited blood at mile 14. One dropped out after being hit by a car. Another just disappeared and was found hours later wandering confused in a field. At the end of the race, only 14 of 32 runners finished. Most were hospitalized, and the world was watching, sort of. The World's Fair had so many distractions that the Olympic events were treated like sideshow acts, and this was the marathon. Fred Laws, the guy who took the car, was banned for life until they unbanned him a year later. He went on to win the Boston Marathon. Thomas Hicks never ran again. He barely survived. And the marathon itself, it was labeled the worst ever held. But it remains a real Olympic event, officially documented. No medals were revoked, no consequences for the poison. Just a footnote in Olympic history, unless you dig deeper, unless you know where to look. The 1904 marathon wasn't just bizarre, it was a warning, a lesson about hubris, ego, and carelessness. It reminds us how far we've come, and how close we still are to chaos when no one's paying attention. A marathon that was supposed to inspire the world almost killed its runners, and yet they called it progress.